Howdy everyone, this is Jake. How are we doing? Welcome back to Advective Weather. We have a lot to get to today, and let's just get right into it. We have severe weather expected today across the Mid-South, threats including gorilla hail and damaging winds. We can get it right into that later. We also have a continuous severe weather threat across the Deep South throughout the week, and we'll get right into that later. But first, let's get into our day 2 and day 3 risks as well. Looking at northern Texas and the deep south right near the Gulf, we'll get why there's a lot of severe weather down there, especially for day 2 and day 3 with those slight risks. And of course, let's get to the big topic today, that enhanced risk, that 3 out of 5 risk, folks. That is no joke. It isn't like your slight or your marginal. It isn't like your moderate or your risk, but it isn't something to scoff at either. The main risks are hail and damaging winds, with hail up to baseball size today. And we can see across the risk area, especially across northern Mississippi and throughout Tennessee and south central Kentucky, we can see that 30% risk for hail. And of course, notably, the significant hatch risk between the four, I think, not the Four Corners, but at least southeast Colorado, the panhandle of Oklahoma, and of course in Texas. So, of course, if you're in any of these areas, be aware of any destructive severe thunderstorm warnings because hail will be on your radar today. Not only hailstones will be your big threat, but winds will be a big problem as well, with 70 plus mile per hour winds possible across the warning area, with that 30% risk also across the same risk where the hailstones are going to be affecting the Mid-South. And although that hail and wind are two big threats, a tornado or two cannot be ruled out, especially around sunset with those lower jet winds increasing throughout the warning area, specifically the southeastern portion. So I would expect a tornado or two, nothing crazy, but of course, just wanted to say that to keep y'all aware for today. And of course, why do we have this weather set up today? Think El Nino. So yes, the dreaded La Nina for the past 3 years is gone. We now have an El Nino pattern. And it's very, very unusual to kind of have this kind of setup. And this El Nino is basically the increase of warm water moving eastward towards the kind of the Panama Canal, kind of that area in western South America. That gives us warmer water for the Gulf of Mexico. So that provides a lot of heat and also moisture for the Gulf of Mexico area to provide a lot of fuel for our severe thunderstorms. These are very important. So just to take a look at our weather model, we have just because of that surplus of energy, any kink in our jet stream right now is enough to be a disturbance and cause any convection to just go boom. And we could just see that little kink to just be enough to fire severe thunderstorms. And that'll just be our main threat. There's just this flat trough kind of forming on the backside of it, but also any kink of it is going to be a disturbance. So any big trough that kind of forms in the back of that is going to be pretty devastating, and we'll kind of see that throughout the next week or so just to see how that will fare. And of course, just our big severe weather threat today, just to kind of highlight the big important factors, mainly across the area between let's say around the mid-afternoon hours. We already have a severe thunderstorm watch out in effect tonight up until the evening hours, probably around 10 p.m. I'm not quite sure about the timing, but we can see around that low pressure system around 19Z, we can just see the squall line just firing up across the mid-Tennessee Valley area and kind of just across southern central Tennessee, or south central Kentucky, sorry, and it's just going to move southeast right across midnight and across the, not midnight, but around the evening hours. What can you do with the severe weather that is going to be expected across the area, across the Mid-South today? So, like I said, there's already a severe thunderstorm watch in effect for our area. And of course, that means that anytime between now and, of course, later tonight, severe thunderstorms can form, and it can be pretty devastating, especially with the large hail threat. So whenever thunder rumbles, anytime you hear that, you are close enough to be struck by lightning. It does not matter where you are, even if it looks sunny and from the opposite direction, it's just really cloudy and you hear thunder. You can still get struck by lightning, believe it or not. And that's how a lot of old men in Florida die. And that's how a lot of people can prevent their lives being lost in a lot of lightning accidents. Funny enough, there's a big statistic where old men in Florida, because of their metal golf clubs, they get struck by lightning. So of course, it's not Florida, but you kind of get the idea. If you hear any thunder, you should be indoors. Hail is a big threat with the system in addition to wind. So any or if you hear any severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect for your area, get your plants and cars into a covered area to protect their glass and, just to protect your car's property value and just to prevent that from getting into a rebuild title, because I know that's going to be a pain in the rear, especially going through insurance companies. I don't like State Farm nor Progressive. Pay attention to NOAA Weather Radio, media outlets, and of course, Advective Weather. We're a source for severe weather information and general weather information. So with that, thank you for watching. I know this was kind of a brief video, but just wanted to get into the brief synoptics of just what our weather setup looks like today. And of course, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Feel free to like and subscribe. And if you have any questions for the team, feel free to join our Discord as well, because we're always available there to talk to any one of you. And of course, you have a great rest of your day.